military response designed to send a message to China, which supports Pakistan, about the capabilities of the Indian military?
What was India's?
How much was India's military response designed to send a message to China, which supports Pakistan?
I wouldn't speculate on the intentions. Our response was to hit the enemy that was hitting us, which happened to be Pakistan. The fact that they were using Chinese weapons and we were bypassing some of the Chinese radar defenses and the famous sort of Chinese networked system, where apparently the Chinese system is that they lock into the other side's aircraft. The radar immediately sends a signal to the plane that sends an immediate launch instruction to the missile. It all comes, and that's supposed to be the great sort of Chinese kill chain we read about in the newspapers. So I don't think that when India decided to bypass some of those threats and hit the airfields it did on the 9th, 10th night, I don't think they were worrying about who gets the message. They wanted to make sure that the Pakistanis got the message and they got the rough end of what we were sending them, which they did. And frankly, I think many of us feel very proud of our defense forces for having done this. I think those whose job it is to study comparative weapon systems, which is not our preoccupation, they can draw conclusions for themselves. But I do believe that what happened on the night of the 9th, 10th speaks for itself, and even more so, the immediate reaction of the Pakistanis the next morning to call off the conflict also speaks very vividly for itself, and maybe that's the message the Chinese will have to look at. But I don't want to speculate about China.
Also, not to forget how the stock market performed.
So a lot of people...
And as far as your question about arms came, it did surface in a couple of discussions we had. But we made it very clear to the Americans that unlike Pakistan, whose bulk of armament and military hardware, 81% comes from China, India's military hardware is not only growing indigenously, but is also very diverse. We have, military hardware that we purchase from the United States, from France, from Israel. So we have a very diverse set of countries that we purchase from, with whom we have tactical and strategic partnerships. There is only one country that has perhaps the highest, it's like a vassal state, 81% of their military equipment comes from China.
There are three important aspects which US policy makers need to ponder over. Firstly, on terrorism. What kind of impact it has had on the United States, my colleague has already underlined. And since we have seen that the Pakistan Army General and Field Marshal have been failing, and it is stated that Pakistan Army is in full control of Pakistan. So therefore, terrorism then must be curbed there. It cannot be part of or instrument of foreign policy. And that United States policymakers need to be focused on, because that terrorism in the past has hit the United States, it can hit in the future too. The second part is on democracy. We have seen that whenever there is pressure on Pakistan Army, it finds a convenient way of creating tensions with India. This has a history, and you can see it at present also. Now, that aspect certainly needs to be, that message needs to go. And the third is the strategic part. There is a larger geopolitical play. I don't think anybody needs to be explained that Pakistan is the front for China. And I think the US policymakers need to be conscious of that. So these are the 3 points I just wanted to